Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly confirm that you can hear me. And for those people who have joined with the mic, please make sure that you are muted at all time, unless I call upon you to intervene. So make sure that you are muted at all time so that we can have a peaceful lesson. So thank you so much for joining today's session. And without much ado, I just want to remind you very fast on quite a number of things that we have covered so far as passé composé is concerned. I've said anytime you join the class, make sure that you are muted. Sylvia. So Kevin Mandela, please, today I believe you are not going to disturb my class. So I was making a point that all along we have been talking about passé composé, and I want us to wind up with that today so that we can make some progress. So I'll be sharing my board with you. Just a minute. So please make sure you write down the notes, because I'll be clearing the board as soon as I'm done to create more space. So please also make sure you pay attention to what is happening. It is for your own good. So just a minute, let me make a stop. I'm just dealing with some settings here. Then, so from your end, kindly confirm you can see the whiteboard. Confirm you can see the whiteboard from your end, kindly. So I've talked about the passé composé. So basically, as you are all aware now that I say that passé composé is a tense that we use to express events or actions which are complete in the past. Okay? So français, la date, c'est le 29 juin 2020. So we are talking about passé composé. So remember we said passé composé is a tense which involves the verb avoir ou être au présent plus participe passé. So we started with the verb avoir, which I said, we say j'ai tu as, il, elle a, nous avons, vous avez, ils, elles ont. Plus the past participle. For example, ER verbs, how do they form their past participle? So take the verb voyager, you add E with acute accent. So j'ai voyagé, tu as voyagé, il a voyagé, elle a voyagé, nous avons voyagé, vous avez voyagé, ils, elles ont voyagé. Ou bien ici, on peut utiliser le nom, les touristes ont voyagé. So that is how first group verb form their past participle. As we have seen, we say either the verb to have or the verb to be conjugating the present plus the past participle. So we say second group verbs are verbs ending in IR. So we said like the verb réussir. So we say réussi. You remove the IR, then you replace the IR with E. J'ai réussi, I succeeded. Then we look at the irregular verbs, which I gave you the past participle of most of the irregular verbs. So please go through that, know them, how they form their past participle. For example, verbs ending in RE, some of them, the RE changes to letter U. So we say, for example, répondu. J'ai répondu or perdu, okay? Perdu or attendu. Attendu, waited. Then we also realize that not all verbs ending in RE, the RE changes letter U. Like the verb prendre, we say that pris, compris, that's the verb comprendre. Then we say surpris, surprised. Then we say appris. So those are just some of the third group verbs, which are, of course, irregular verbs. So please know how they form their past participle depending on how those verbs behave. So please go through that and master those verbs which are irregular. It's very, very important for you to note that. Any question? Any question as far as that is concerned? Any question? Let me see, I've seen a chat. Okongo, you can't see the screen. You are still not able to see the screen. Anyone else who cannot see the screen is well there. So that is basically just a reminder of the verbs which form their past participle with the verb to have. Okay. Now, my interest today is the verb to be, and that is where we stopped last time. The verb to be, formation of passé composé with the verb to be. Now, verb to be, of course, again, this verb you conjugate in the present. You conjugate this verb in the present simple tense, just like the verb to have, plus the verbs of motion. That is what we said last time. We have got verbs of motion. There are 14 verbs that you must know. So we have verbs of motion and other 3 verbs, making them the verb 17. And of course, also pronominal verbs. So that is what I really want to dwell on today. So we have got the verb être, which we still conjugate as je suis, tu es, il, elle, nous, 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 elle est, nous sommes, vous êtes, elles sont. Of course, plus the past participle of the following verbs. I gave you those verbs. We have got the verb arriver. We have the verb arriver. We have the verb monter. We have the verb aller. We have the verb partir. The verb sortir. The verb venir. The verb passer. The verb rester. The verb entrer. The verb descendre. Okay. The verb retourner. etc. Those verbs are among the 17 verbs I gave you. And let me add those verbs, other verbs. I remember Brian asked that question sometimes back when we had a class. We have the verb mourir. We have the verb that is mourir, to die. The verb naître, to be born. We have the verb devenir, to become. So apart from the 17 verbs, which are verbs of motion, and they are there on the portal, these 3 verbs adds them to 17 verbs. I also gave you the past participle of all those verbs. So what I really want to explain today is that when it comes to formation of passé composé with the verb to be, when it comes to the formation of passé composé with the verb to be, then, ladies and gentlemen, you have to take note of the past participle of the verb. The past participle of the verb, because here, the past participle of the verb must agree, and I have used the word must agree with the subject. Must agree with the subject. So, I'm going to come up with a table, and I will use one verb. Okay, so just to help you understand, so this is masculine, this is feminine. Okay, so when, for example, you want to, let's pick which verb, the verb aller. Okay, so we are going to use the verb aller to express ourselves in the past. So je suis, the person speaking here is a male, so we say je suis allé. Je suis allé. You see, I went. Je suis allé à Paris, par exemple. Je suis allé à Paris. So here it remains as it is. But if it is feminine, we say, this is what we say the same thing, but what we write is not the same. Allé. Now, up to that point, this, when this is feminine, we add letter E to the past participle. We add letter E to the past participle of any verb of motion, so long as you are expressing yourself using the verb to be. Je suis allé, je suis allé. We say the same thing, but this one explains the gender of the person. Remember that. Addressing someone, tu es, so we say tu es allé, masculine. Feminine, simple, tu es allé. So attention must be on the past participle. You see, up to this is just the same, but now the past participle is changing based on the gender of the subject. Okay, so we simply say this, ladies and gentlemen, if the noun, if the subject, the noun or the pronoun is referring to a female gender, we simply add letter E to the past participle. Note, we add letter E to the past participle so long as the subject is feminine. We add letter E, and that is what I'm doing on that end. Il est allé. Okay, but here we say elle est allé. Letter E, elle. Nous sommes, plural. So we add letter S to the past participle, because the past participle must agree with the gender in terms of must agree with the gender and the number. So if it is singular, remember here I added nothing because these ones are singular, but here nous sommes. So we say nous sommes allés, we add letter S, but this side we say nous sommes allés. Add letter E and then letter S. Very important. Nous sommes allés. Vous êtes. I've used this in the plural form, so I add letter S. Here we say vous êtes allés. E-S. Okay? Then finally, elles sont allées. Pardon. I'm separating them. Ils sont allés. Add S. So here it is elles sont allées. ES. So basically, that is how you're supposed to deal with all verbs of motion, especially when it comes to the gender. You see, E, we does not bring any change when it comes to pronouncing the past participle alone. So, aller, the same, all of them. So we say je suis allé, je suis allé. We are saying the same thing. So written French is different. So it must accord. It must agree with the gender. If, for example, here the person speaking here is Lillian, so Lillian will say je suis allé. But now Brian says je suis allé. We are saying the same thing, but now this is what Brian is supposed to write, but this is what Lillian is supposed to write. But when it comes to the spoken French, we are referring to the same thing. We are saying the same thing. There's no different when it comes to the wordings, what you're supposed to pronounce. So that is how first group verbs, or I mean verbs of motion, regardless of their group, form the passé, composé, of course, using the verb to be. Remember, this one does not happen with the verb to have, it only happens with the verb to be. So please also take note of what I'm saying. I've said the past participle only agree with the verb to be, not the verb to have, because in this case, it is like the past participle behave like the adjective. So it has to agree with the what? It has to agree with the gender of the gender and the number of the noun or the pronoun, so to speak, the subject. Any question? Any question there? Any question, Brian? Is that clear? I hope you've taken the notes. Any question there? So that is understood. Now, I want someone to attempt this question. I'm going to write it on the board. I'm writing that question. Please write it down. put that verb, complete that sentence using the verb given, expressing passé composé. I believe you've written that question down. Are we done? So try to express yourself in the past using the verb you are given there, the verb venir. Venir. Okay? I hope we are done. You can't see what I've written on the board. Let me use shared notes so that we avoid all this complaint here. The question I've written is simple. That's the question I gave you. So kindly complete that, expressing yourself in the past. Waithera, check. Waithera Elizabeth, check. You saw it. Others were saying they can't see the board. So check the past participle of the verb venir. What's the past participle of the verb venir? Check your notes. I want you to send me your answer under as private. Private, kindly. From there, I will know those who have understood. Yes, Peter, that is correct. So, can you complete that sentence? You are sending me the past participle. I want that sentence to be completed with your answer. Kindly. Brian, that is correct. The rest. Everyone must participate in this. I'm taking notes here. Everyone must participate. I mean everyone. Please note my question. I want you to express yourself, completing that sentence, including your answer. Now, how is that phrase now written? How does that sentence written? How is supposed to read? The whole, now you're expressing yourself, what I've said, plus now the past participle of the verb you are given the verb venir. That is my question to you. Kevin Mandela, you've added letter E. Why have you added letter E? Ask yourself that question. Why have you added letter E on the past participle of that verb? The rest, Brenda Watere, Cynthia Uma, Cecilia, London, Lillian, Mansura, Muteti, Mwarage, Mwihaki, Okongo Judith, Sylvia. Lubanga, check that word you've written if it is French. Stephen Mary, the subject, is this the subject, Lillian and Mandela? Those are two people. So what should happen to the past participle? What are you supposed to add to the past participle? I really want us to understand that. Were there, Elizabeth, the same thing? What happens to the past participle? Lillian Odwor, which tense is that? Mandela, not yet. Eric Mukangi, no. Now, kindly follow. Those who are saying they can't see the board, please make sure you see the board. I believe all of us, we can see that board. So the statement there, you are told Lillian A. Mandela, the verb given venir à l'hôtel. Let me put it this way. I believe you can all see. Now we have this Lillian Mandela. So the two is ill, meaning masculine plural. So the past participle of the verb venir, I've said Lillian Brian, female male. So this is third person plural, masculine. The verb venir is a verb of motion. The past participle is venu. Now, if you give me this like this, it is wrong. Gender, this is plural. So it should be Lillian A. Mandela sont. You know, if you give me this alone, you are not expressing anything as far as passé composé is concerned. Sont venus. That is still wrong. We have got two people, so you add letter S to this to show that indeed the subject is in plural form. So that is what I really want you to understand. So Lillian et Mandela sont venus. The past participle alone is that. Why have I added letter S? I've added letter S because here I'm having a plural, which is what? Which is a mixture of gender. So the only thing I can do to the past participle is adding letter S. I believe that is understood. So Lillian A. Mandela sont venus. The verb venir is a verb of motion. Therefore, it takes the verb to be to form the passé composé. I believe that is clear. Kindly try this. Try this again. Try this sentence. Write as I write. So we have, for example, we say, Les étudiantes, write that down. Partir is the verb ce matin. Please kindly just zoom your screen so that you see what I've written. So that is the statement you are given. I want you to put that, express that in passé composé. Les étudiants, the verb given partir ce matin. That is CE, ce matin. You have 1 minute to do that. Send me your answer as soon as you are done. Kindly. Lillian, understand passé composé and explain from the beginning. Passé composé involves the verb to be, the verb to have in the present plus the past participle. And that is where we started. Kindly. Let us try that. Whatever I've given there, that statement, put the verb, complete it with that verb expressing passé composé. I'm waiting for your answers. If I told you I'd send your answer, kindly send again. Brian, that answer is questionable. Yes, that is now correct. Huh? Peter Odhiambo, check the past participle. What are you supposed to add? What is the gender of the students? Is it male or female? Those are the questions we need to ask ourselves. And once you understand that, Sylvia Mwaniki, check the past participle of the verb partir. Well, there, Elizabeth, fair enough, but check, what are you supposed to add to the past participle? The rest, Muli Jacqueline, Mansura, Mwarage. Please, it is through participation that you will understand what is going on. Don't be a backbencher. Learning does not take place like that, kindly. So please make sure you participate, because I believe you are listening when I was taking you through what is expected of you. So you can only exercise that by trying to attempt the question that have been asked. We are learning. Brenda, check your notes last time I gave you when it comes to the formation of the past participle for the verbs of motion. Check that. You're going to find that verb. I want to check that on your own. It will stick. So back to shared notes. So the question I gave you was les étudiants, shared notes, I'm writing it. Les étudiants. So the verb you are given there was partir. So this is what was expected of you. Les étudiants, the gender of that, these are students who are feminine. So we say sont. Now the past participle of the verb partir is that, partir. But now the gender is feminine, then it is plural. So that is what I was expecting you to write. So les étudiants sont partis. Les étudiants sont partis ce matin. Take note of that. Another example, for example, you are told, les touristes, tourist gender is masculine plural. Then the verb you are given, for example, is the verb arriver. arriver. That's the verb. So to answer this question, you simply say les touristes sont, then sont, of course, because the gender, I mean the subject is plural and the gender is masculine. So the past participle of the verb arriver is that, but I will add s to show that I will add s with the past participle because the subject is in plural form. Basically, that is what you're supposed to do. So if, for example, I have another one where I'm saying, for example, I have Brenda est so I was making a point. You have two names, plural form. So Brenda et Faith. Brenda et Faith. Then you have a verb like on, let's say the verb sortir. Sortir, to go out. So that's the verb you are given, sortir. So it is very simple. First, that's a verb of motion. So we say Brenda et Faith sont sorties. That's the past participle. I add e because that is feminine. Then I add s because it's plural. I believe that is understood. So I want you to try the following questions. 1. Answer those questions kindly. Kindly attempt those 5 questions very fast. Then thereafter we can proceed. Kindly. Attempt those questions. I'm not using the board, Cynthia. I'm using the shared notes platform. Kindly. I'm not using the board. Go to the shared notes under the private chat, under the public chat. You will see everything I've been writing since we started class. Please try to attempt those questions very fast so that we can make progress. Wedera, that is correct. That is Wedera Elizabeth. Very good. Correct, Brian. Correct. The rest, I'm really waiting for you. Kindly. And I will mark the register based on participation. So register your participation with Monsieur. Correct. Peter, I've seen your work. Brian, check that. Ma mère a préparé. Check that. There, Elizabeth, well noted. The rest, are we in class? Amoni, check the verb, the nous sommes. Nous sommes, is that correct? Stephen, Mary, I've seen your work. Check what you've written. Brian est venu me voir. That is correct, Peter. Now, Brian. Brian Maina. That's the name. You cannot say Brian sont venus. You cannot say that in French. You cannot say that. Please kindly, I'm inviting you to be very, very attentive when I'm explaining these things. So, Brian, first, no, Elizabeth, let me see. Brian, can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Now, I want to make you a presenter and explain each and the following those questions to your classmates.
Yes.
And this is what you're going to do. Let me make you a presenter. Once you are done, I will. So you are going to use shared notes. I think you can still. Can you see the? Can you try to write something on the shared notes? Is it possible? You? Oh yes, good. So delete. So I'm inviting all of the participants. Please go to shared notes. So Brian, I want you to write. Create a space. Just enter. Just click enter. Or let me do it. Yeah, I've done it. So I want you to answer those questions, explaining to your colleagues how you arrive at the answer. Kindly, okay?
Okay.
Yes. So explain yourself as you answer those questions. Just explain yourself.
Let me rub first.
Oh, it's okay.
So in the first question, we have Jo, and then the verb we have is voyager à Nairobi. So here the past participle of voyager is voyager without the R, but now the E you put an accent. So we first look at the verb voyager and we try to figure out whether it is a verb of être or a verb of avoir. So
very good.
the verb voyager uses avoir. So since it's the first person pronoun, we'll say J, then J, but the E is supposed to have an accent. I'm using a computer.
Let me help you. I've done it.
Okay. Nairobi. So basically, what you're supposed to figure out is whether the verb you're given is using être or avoir. And in the last class, we were given all the verbs that use être. So when you see a verb that is not in the list, you know that it uses avoir. So we go to the next question. Nous, then the verb is descendre à la nous descendre à la réception. So the verb given is descendre, and in the list of the verbs of être, descendre is there. So definitely we know that we are supposed to use the verb être. So first we have to figure out the past participle of this verb, of which the past participle is descendu. So we'll now come to write nous sommes, and then because the sentence, the pronoun is in plural. So when we come in to write the verb descendu, we'll have to add an s because the sentence is in plural. Okay, and then the third question is Brian venir me voir. So the verb venir is also a part of the verbs that use être. So first of all, we try to figure out the past participle of the verb venir, which is venu. So since it's just Brian, and the verb is using être, we come to write here.
So Brian, can you explain? Can you explain why you are not adding anything to that past participle venu?
Okay, because when you look in the second sentence, the pronoun was nous. Nous is we. We, when you say we, it is many people. But now in this sentence, it's just Brian, one person. So in the past participle of the verb, you won't have to add any s because it is singular.
And what of if that Brian was Mary?
If it was Mary, we could have added e to the.
Write that. Now you just replace Brian with Mary. Will it remain the same?
No, we'll have to add an e here because when the subject is feminine, an e is added to the past participle.
Very good. Proceed. I hope your colleagues are following keenly and taking notes. Proceed.
Okay, so the next question, pourquoi elle, and then the verb is partir. So when in the list of the verbs that use être, we find partir. So first of all, we have to know how to write the past participle of the verb, which is partir without an r. So we come here. First of all, when we write the past participle, but then when you look at the sentence here, the subject is feminine, elle. So we'll have to add an e to the past participle of the verb partir.
Check what you've written. Is that correct?
Oh, wait, not. And then we go to
partir. So where have you added letter E to the past participle partir?
because in the sentence the subject being referred to is feminine, and when it's feminine you add an e to the past participle.
Very good.
So in the last question, ma mère then préparait un délicieux repas. So the first of all, the past participle, the verb first of all uses avoir because it is not in the list of verbs that use être. And then now the past participle of it is préparé. So and because it uses avoir, we will say ma mère a.
Ma mère. Ma mère a préparé un délicieux repas. I believe we managed to follow. And one thing I want you to understand, thank you so much, Brian. One thing I want you to understand, dear students, is this. Once you understand, I like the way Brian was putting it, and that is what I explained to you last time. The most important thing is mastering the verbs of motion and the other three verbs, the verb mourir, the verb naître, which form the passé composé with être. The rest, not falling under that group, you just know that they take the verb to have, and I think that's the easier way to go, because not those verbs are not so many, so you can master them. Once you master them, then automatically any verb that does not fall under that bracket form passé composé with the verb to have. One thing I've also noted is that most of you are not keen on how verbs form their past participle. Remember all those verbs I gave you across, first group verbs, second group verbs, and third group verbs, how they form their past participle. That one I'd explained. So that should not be something that should be now a problem, because I did explain very well how various verbs form their past participle. So please take note of that. Go through your notes, understand, practice. And as I always say, when we have a class, ladies and gentlemen, then you leave it where we have left it, and then we pick it from where we have left it last time. Then you are not going to make any progress at all. So please take your time, go through these notes over and over again. Then you will find yourself really doing justice to yourself. So that is that. So I think that is well explained. Unless anyone has a question, you can ask, because I want to wind up with passé composé, and that tense we are burying it today. Cynthia, I believe you understood what has been going on, and you are on and off. Peter, you tried, but now I believe you understood what should happen at the end. You're supposed to add letter E to the past participle parti, because you are referring to feminine. Please, that is very key. And that one only happens with the verb to have. That happens with the verb to have. I can see most of you are now understanding it. That is encouraging. So now I want to talk about passé composé with reflexive verbs. Remember the first topic we talked about, if you can remember, which topic was that? Pronominal verbs, reflexive verbs, right? Yeah, before I proceed, Mary Stephen, you've done something very interesting. You said nous, you say nous descendons, but you forgot anytime you talk about passé composé, you must have two verbs, either the verb to have or the verb to be in the present plus the past participle form of the verb. Now, let me take you back to the shared notes. Now, if at all someone also wrote this, that is number two. Number two, the questions I gave you. Number two, if at all someone also wrote this, nous sommes descendus. Is that wrong? If at all someone wrote that, that is still correct. Because, you know, when you talk about the nous, we don't know exactly the gender of these people expressing themselves. So we can also assume that if at all nous was feminine group, plural, then we can boldly say nous sommes descendus. You add the es plural, e feminine, s plural. Okay? So nous sommes descendus à la réception. I think, Mary Stephen, that is what you are trying to express, but you forgot to put the verb to be. So we say nous sommes, not nous descendus. Anytime you talk about passé composé, you give only the past participle. That is wrong. And I repeat, that is wrong. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about passé composé. Passé composé. I'm on the shared notes, kindly, shared notes. Passé composé avec les verbes pronominaux. Les verbes pronominaux. Remember the pronominal verbs? That was the first topic we talked about. The first topic, if at all you remember, the first topic we talked about was pronominal verbs, where I say that pronominal verbs are verbs which are accompanied by a word, a pronoun. Okay? So these verbs, examples of these verbs. So remember also these verbs form passé composé with the verb être. With the verb être. Take note of that. So apart from verbs of motion, all pronominal verbs form their past passé composé with the verb être. So examples of these verbs, let me remind you of the examples of pronominal verbs. Remember I told you pronominal verbs are verbs accompanied with what? A pronoun. So we have a verb like the verb we say se connaître, to know each other, se connaître. We have the verb se laver. We have the verb se réveiller. We have the verb se coucher. We have the verb se blesser, to hurt oneself. Se blesser. We have the verb s'endormir. S'endormir. S'endormir, to fall asleep. We have the verb s'embrasser. We have the verb s'habiller. We have the verb se lever. etc. So these verbs are among so many verbs that we have looked at the first topic of this semester or this course. So these verbs, I want to, just the way I explain how the subject, the pronoun accompanying the verb changes. So these verbs, most of them you can see they are first group verbs. So the past participle remains the same. So the past participle remain formation remain the same as I'd explained. So let me go back to the shared notes. So I want you to be keen how this verb behave with the verb to be. So for example, take the verb. Which verb now? Let's take the verb se lever or se laver. We have the verb se lever, se laver. We also have the verb se doucher is here. Se doucher, to shower. Se doucher. So passé composé with this verb. Remember, we also conjugate the verb. In so we say the verb se laver. This is a first group verb. So when you express yourself in the past with these verbs, so the verb to be separates, not that. The verb to be separate this pronoun accompanying the verb and the verb. The verb to be separates the pronoun and the past participle of the verb. For example, so I will say, je me suis, follow, je me suis lavé. Je me suis lavé. So you see here, this is what I'm talking about. Let me put it this way so that you understand me. You see what I've done, just for my explanation, I've put that in quotes, je me suis lavé. So, me, then the verb to be suis, then lavé. But remember, I hope you've understood my explanation there. But remember, as we had said, that with the verb to be, the past participle must agree with the subject. So I believe all of you now you understand when I put that in bracket what it means, okay? Then we say tu es, tu t'es, sorry, tu apostrophe, tu t'es lavé. I will put letter E in the bracket, awaiting for the gender of the person you are addressing. Now, il se lavait. That remains as it is, but take note now. Elle se lavait, pardon, elle se lavait. I will add another E. I will add another E there. Then we say, nous sommes lavés. That is, I'm going to put E in bracket. In case you need me to clarify something, please just ask. But S is common. Next, vous êtes. Vous êtes lavé. E in bracket, sorry, E in bracket, but S is common. Then finally, ils se sont lavés. I will add what? S. Then elles se sont lavées. I add es. So this is basically how pronominal verbs form their passé composé, as you can see. So you can see the pronoun, how the pronoun is changing. And remember what I've said, the pronoun is the verb to be, when it comes to passé composé, is sandwiched by the pronoun of the verb and the past participle of that verb. Je me suis lavé, tu t'es lavé, il s'est lavé, elle s'est lavée, nous nous sommes lavés, vous vous êtes lavé, ils se sont lavés, elles se sont lavées. It's like you're saying, I took a shower, I bathed myself, I took a bath, I bathed myself. That is in the past. Je me lave, that is the present. Remember, that's where we started. Now here, we have moved to the passé composé. So please take note of that. Take the verb, for example, se doucher or se réveiller. Se réveiller, that is a verb, a pronominal verb. Anyone who wants to try to conjugate this in the past? Any volunteer? I make you a presenter. Let me see. Brenda, are you there? Brenda, you are the presenter. Not Brenda, but Cynthia. Cynthia Auma. You are the presenter. I want you to conjugate the verb I've given under shared notes. So please take, it is you who is going to explain to us how you're supposed to conjugate that verb in passé composé. Go ahead. Cynthia Auma, sorry, Cynthia Auma. We are there waiting. We are under shared notes, kindly. You are doing well. You are doing very well. Proceed. Yes, Cynthia. Conclude. Are you there, Cynthia? Redo it kindly. L? Is it SO? Between L and son. What is that? Cynthia, can you see what I've highlighted? What I've underlined, can you see that? Where I put the cast? What is it supposed to be? Is it SO or SE? Cynthia Auma, you are the one I'm talking to. But you really tried. So basically, that is how you're supposed to express yourself with this verse I have just introduced. So pronominal verbs. So I think that is understood. So now, for example, now, sorry. Now you are given a sentence like this. Paul then the verb is se lever à 5 heures. À 5h30. Any volunteer to do this work? So I'm going to choose someone. So can you give me back a presenter? Cynthia, what you do to return the presenter to me? Who is the presenter now? Sylvia, I can see you are the presenter. I don't know who gave you that. So Sylvia, now you are the presenter. Thank you. As you are, don't return it. Can you answer that question? Sylvia Mwanika, thank you. You are the presenter. Answer that question. Proceed. Thank you. Wonderful. You can clap for yourself. Now, I want to give the, I want you to make now, you're the one who is the presenter. I want you to make, let me tell you the person, you click the name, then you make that person a presenter. Let me tell you that person you're going to make a presenter. Make Flyan Shalom Kangi. Make a presenter. You just click her name. Let me make her. Let me make her on your behalf. I can do that. Wait. Flyan, you are the presenter. This is the question I want you to answer. Flyan, are you there? So this is the question. Please make sure you understand what we are doing. If you understand this, great. Flyan, that is your question. So take us through. Take us through that. Kindly go ahead. You are the presenter. Flyan, I hope you got me. I think she's not in class. Let me. Akeyo. Akeyo Acheng, you are the presenter. Answer that question. Very good. I know you have an issue. The problem with you, I think, is how you put that accent. So that is well done. Well done. So for me, from where I sit, I think it is understood. So let me give you another example. I make someone a presenter to yes, the presenter, boy child. Okay. Gary Clark, welcome. This is your first class, eh? Gary Clark, you are the presenter. Answer that question. Merci de répondre.
Which question, sir?
There's a question. Are you on the shared notes? Where we have been doing. Do you know how to go the shared notes under the public chat? Huh?
Yeah.
When you go to that icon on your top left, when you click that icon, you will see public chat. Then under it, shared notes. You mean you've not been following the lesson? That's where we have been using our board. I've been typing so many things there since we started.
Sir, I was having an issue with the network, so I've joined it right now.
Yes, so it means you may not be in a position to go through what I've asked. You've not been following the class.
Yes.
I will excuse
the
you for
PDF.
That. The PDF you've okay. So you want to attempt it?
No, but I do it. Then I'll know if I'll answer it in another question.
Oh, okay. So London Waithera, you are the presenter. Answer that question. Mercy London. Merci. Mercy London. Mercy London, I can see you are online. Can you answer that question kindly? Okay. Lilian Oduor, you are the presenter. You can even unmute yourself, you explain. Lilian, are you there? Lilian absent. Mercy, I asked you to answer a question you never answered. Lilian, I've asked you to answer that question you've not answered. So pass. Muriuki Muhune, you are the presenter. Shared notes. The question I want to answer is on the shared notes. I don't know whether you are following what is going on. Muriuki, try to answer that question. Les touristes devaient se réveiller très tôt. When you are a presenter, I want you to type where that question is. Once I make you a presenter, you can use shared notes to type. So that's where I want you to explain to us how you're supposed to answer that question. Okongo Judith, you are the presenter. Answer that question. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking notes from my end. Where are you typing? Hmm? Yes, proceed. You're in the right track. Kongo Judith, I'm waiting for you to finish. Are you there? Kongo Judith. Waithira,
So I have a problem with typing. They're repeating themselves, the words.
yeah, I'm wondering why.
So I don't know. Hey.
You add S because the tourist is masculine, it is plural. So we say le touriste se sont réveillés très tôt. As simple as that. Any question? Swali? So that marks the end of passé composé. That marks the end of passé composé. So the next thing I want to talk about is les moyens de transport. I believe you have your course outline with you. Means of transport. So
Excusez-moi, monsieur.
oui, qui parle? Who is speaking? Mary Steven. Are you the one? Yes, go ahead.
Which is the perfect tense in French?
That one we call it plus que parfait. Plus que parfait, that is what we call the past perfect tense. Huh? So that one it is there, but we rarely use it. So it involves like we still express using the verb to be and the verb to have. And I think I don't know whether you are the one who did that, where you conjugate the verb to be or the verb to have, but now in the past continuous tense plus the past participle. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is a different tense. We call it plus que parfait, past perfect tense. So we have got different ways of expressing yourself in the past. It can be recent past, like now I can say she has just left. She just left a few minutes ago. The train has just left. I have just eaten. So that is a tense we call recent past, passé récent, which I will also talk about. Recent past, an action which has just taken place a few moments ago, or a few minutes ago. Then we have got past continuous tense. I was doing ABCD. Okay. I was playing. I was cooking. The phone rang when I was cooking. I was. So something that took place in the past, but it lasted for a duration of time. So again, that is a tense that you will do. That is now, of course, under this on this semester, by the way. So we are supposed to talk about imperfect. We call it l'imparfait. That is the imperfect tense. What you equate with the past continuous tense. So that one again we'll talk about. So of course we have got the perfect tense, which is also it is still expressed with the verb to be or the verb to have, of course still following the guideline I've just given you. So you see, whether it is a verb of motion or a pronominal verb, you will still express that using the verb to be, as we have done in the passé composé. So the most important thing is just understanding how these verbs are behaving across, depending on the tense you want to express yourself in. Okay, so just like I've said, that the only thing which is going to change is now, instead of conjugating the verb to be or the verb to have in the present, now the verb to be and the verb to have is conjugated in the past continuous tense plus the past participle. The past participle doesn't change. The past participle will remain. Just like passé composé is the verb to be and the verb to have in the present plus the past participle, is the same way. Now the pluscuparfait, the question that Mary has asked, it's now these two verbs, these two auxiliary verbs, still being conjugated, but now in the past continuous tense plus the past participle of the same verb. Remember, the verb to be and the verb to have is just helping us to show when does this action take place. Okay, but the verb expressing the action is the verb now in the past participle. Like now the verb manger, you can use the verb manger in the present, you can use the verb manger in the past. So remember, I've just said we have different forms of past. We have got the recent past, we have got the past continuous tense, we have got the past perfect tense, and then we have got the past tense, as we say j'ai mangé. Okay, so, but when you say j'avais mangé, I had eaten. I ate, I had eaten. Okay, so I had eaten, I think that's the question you were asking. Okay, I had left. J'ai été parti. I had left. J'étais venu. I had come. You see, so that's what we call le pluscuparfait en français. I hope Mary Stephen have answered your question. Any other question for those who join with listening only? Odhiambo Peter, any question? Momanyi Dennis, Brian? Question?
I'm good.
Great. The rest, ask questions. The floor is open to ask questions. Vous pouvez poser des questions maintenant. Monsieur vous écoute. J'aimerais bien répondre à toutes les questions que vous avez. So we are good. Now, I want to talk about another small topic, and then we just leave it there in the next few minutes. So for those who are saying you cannot see my board, please try to see and write. Take note. So I will change my screen so that you see the board. use confirm. Confirm. All of you confirm you can see the board. Those who had not typed anything, this is the time. All of you can confirm that you can see the board, the whiteboard, kindly. Those who had not typed anything, I'm registering the participation just by confirming that you can see the board. Muriuki, confirm. There's another person looking for. Okay, now I'm not going to take much time, and let me slide it this way, and I believe you can still see. So I want to talk about les moyens de transport, and I'm going to give you some work to do on this. You're going to do research on the same. So we have got water transport. How do you call water transport? Water transport. Water transport, land transport, and air transport. So the assignment is this. The assignment is this. I want you to identify water transport, and then the means of, these are modes. We have got modes of transport. Modes of transport are what? Water, land, air. I hope we are together. Then we have got the means. So the means of transport under water. Do research on that. The means of transport under land. Then the means of transport under what? Under air. I repeat myself. Do research on, and this work is in French. Water transport. How do you call that in French? Land transport. How do you call that? Air transport. How do you call that? So under the modes of transport, then les moyens de transport. For example, like water, I can say bateau. Bateau. So you cite the rest. Okay. Under land transport, I can say le bus. Look for the rest. Under air, I can say avion. Look for the rest. I believe you are getting my point. And I'm done there. Now, my concern is this. The preposition we use. So I've said the work you are going to do research on under the means of, under the transportation, le transport, we have got le mode de transport, le mode, c'est ça, et les moyens de transport. Now, my concern is this. The preposition you use when you want to talk about, remember we have done passé composé. We have done passé composé. So, for example, I can say, je suis allé à Paris. Je suis allé à Paris en train. So we use we use preposition like on. We use preposition like on with the means of transport, like we say en train, en bus, en voiture, okay? En train, en bus, en voiture. By, okay? We say en avion, avion, by air, okay? Then we use AU with like bateau. Bateau is a boat. Do research about the rest. We have with this. We also have, of course, this one cuts across whether it is water or it is air. You can also say au cheval. Cheval is horse, huh? Okay? etc. We say à pied. On foot, the so-called route 11, so à pied. So how do you move? Je vais à la maison à pied. How do you go to school? Je vais à l'école en voiture, en bus, en train, by car, by train, or by bus, or is it à pied? So basically, the means of transport, there's nothing much to talk about. The most important thing, which tense are you expressing yourself? Remember, so far we have talked about expressing ourselves in the present and of course also in the past. So that is very, very important for you to note, okay? So either you express yourself in the past. So like for example, for me, I will say le weekend or hier, je suis allé. Hier, je suis allé. Hier, je suis allé à Nairobi en bus. Hier, je suis allé à Nairobi en bus. Yesterday, I went to Nairobi by bus. Okay? In other words, let me help you. Anything you find yourself inside, it has a door. We say what? We say in. But bateau, you see, is open, a boat. And then it is also masculine, okay? So we say au bateau, not on bateau. So bus, train, aeroplane, a car, we use what? On. We have other means of transport like border. It's upon you to know where it falls. Border. We also have tuk. Yeah, that exists in French. We also have taxi. It's upon you to know where it falls. So we say on taxi, by taxi. We say on tuk, border, etc. So those are basically the means of transport that you're supposed to use. But remember, they fall either under water transport, land transport, and the air transport. Any question? Someone asks you this. You tell someone, je vais à Paris. Then someone asks you comment. How? I'm going to Paris, but how are you going there? In other words, this person asks you quel moyen de transport? Quel moyen de transport which means of transport are you going to use? So if there's a train going to Paris en France, you can use that. If it is air, so you simply say en avion, by air. Okay, je vais à Paris en avion. Je vais à Nairobi en voiture. Or if you can walk, we say à pied. Please do research on the means of transport, and our next class, that is where we will start. I will give each one of you at least to present something on that before we proceed. Now, also, I want to invite you to prepare for the following. Our next topic will talk about the following. I will try as much as possible
Monsieur, you are muted.
No, I don't know, but Peter, when I was talking about means of transport, you understood me?
I never heard anything.
And the rest are just, or most of you cannot talk. So, so my point is, I talked about the means of transport, and I believe you could see what I was writing. So I gave you some work to do on that. I told you to do more research about what means of transport fall under land, what means of transport fall under water, what means of transport fall under air. So that is something behind us now. So please do justice to yourself, do research on the same. So the next time we meet, I will select some few of you randomly to present their findings. So please take that work seriously. That is our next class. Now, another thing I've talked about is the two topics that we are going to talk about. That is the l'imparfait et l'adverbe. Adverbs. What are adverbs? How are we using them to express ourselves? So we are going to talk about utilisation and formation. Formation and the use. How do we use the adverbs and how are they formed? So you will find the notes on the same very soon. So please read ahead so that when we meet, these things don't sound so new to you. So imperfect tense is what we call in English the past continuous tense. Okay, I was preparing, I was traveling, I was sleeping, I was calling, I was preparing dinner, whatever. I was doing so. So past continuous tense is a tense we used to express actions or events in the past, and they took some time, of course, behind us. But unlike passé composé, which is used to express events which are complete in the past, I prepared. So I prepared and I was preparing. Those are two actions which both of them are in the past, but the tense is not the same. One is imperfect tense. I was preparing, but I prepared. Passé composé, I prepared. Imperfect tense, I was preparing. You called when I was taking a shower. Taking a shower, calling is passé composé, you called. But I was taking a shower, that is the imperfect tense. So that is what we will talk about next week, God willing. Remember, I gave you an assignment that you are supposed to submit in the next 22 minutes. After that, you will not have a chance to submit it. So I believe if you've not submitted, you still have 21 minutes to submit that assignment that I gave you 1 week ago. Kindly. So make sure you submit that work. Don't come with excuses, because I don't think you should have any. So with those many remarks, I beg to stop there and give you that time. If you've not finalized my assignment, that's the time you're supposed to work on that assignment and submit it on the portal. Don't send me any work. I will not mark it, kindly. That work must be submitted through the portal. Unless there's a question, you can ask now.
Chair.
Yes, Mary.
So what if we just type the answers on the portal? Is there any problem?
If your question is if,
Like when you click on the add submission,
yes,
then you just type the answers because the space can't fill all the questions there.
you
Is
add
there any
submission.
problem? Yeah, just
any
like
work,
that.
yeah, any work you do on the portal, so long as it is submitted, so long as submitted under that course, I will see whether you take a photo, whether you type. I will see that, and everything. Remember, it is recorded, so that one should not worry you. My problem is if you choose to send me a work through the email, that one is null and void. I want to be very clear on that. Kindly make sure you submit your work through the portal. Kindly bearing your name, your full names, and admission number. Okay, if it's an attachment, you do the same. Mary Stephen, is that clear?
Okay.
Any other question, any concern? Those who can't talk, you can send a message.